What's up, everybody? I'm John Middlekauff. You know what I need you to do. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got content for days reacting to every NFL game all the time, every single day. Subscribe, like the videos. Let's go. Obviously, the Green Bay Packers getting Micah Parsons was a huge deal. And in 2025, the first-round picks they gave up for Micah Parsons do not matter. They have nothing to do with anyone because they don't exist. They're literally playing on Saturdays now. So those don't impact this team. Kenny Clark does. So in 2025, as of today, it was Kenny Clark for Micah Parsons, which every team in the history of sports would have made. And obviously Micah didn't practice all preseason training camp, so he's on a pitch clock. Crazy, his back was fixed. Are you telling me that a team that gave a guy $188 million knew that his back wasn't an issue when he chased down Goff for that first sack of his Packer career and he was running like he was DK Metcalf or something? I was like, God, his back looks pretty loose. Yeah, no shit, which I got no problem with. It's what he had to do to piss Jerry off. But the Packers beat the living piss out of the Lions. Now, I told this to Colin. This was a way bigger game for Green Bay than it was Detroit. Green Bay went 1-5 at home. And against Detroit last year, they lost both games. And I vividly remember sitting on the couch behind me watching the game in the middle of the season against the Lions. And it was ugly. They got worked. I remember they kind of came back late, but it wasn't. The Lions owned them. So there was some of like, we need to beat this team. And two, this Micah Parsons bringing him the juice in Green Bay division. We're not a 1-5 division team. We're a team with Super Bowl aspirations and have to go above 500 in the division. And to go above 500 in the division, like you got to take care of your home divisional games. So if you go 3-0, all you got to do is go 1-2 in the other games. You're 4-2. Boom. The Packers looked awesome. In the first half, one thing that was hard to kind of figure out and wrap your head around when you're arguing or talking with someone about football is like, Jordan Love good? What's Jordan Love's deal? I'd be like, well, the first half of his career, or his essentially rookie year starting after they traded Aaron Rodgers, and he became the full-time starter, I was like, I don't think this guy's good. And even Gutekunst went on the record during the bye, was like, yeah, he's got like 10 games to kind of figure it out, or we got problems. And then he goes on like this 8-game stretch to end the season. We're like, is this Aaron Rodgers? He beats the Cowboys. I'm like, this guy's a stud. They throw him a bunch of cash. Then last year against the Eagles, he gets injured. And it kind of derails their whole season. Not derails like they win 3 or 4 games. They're still a good team. But he's in and out of the lineup. He ends up hurting his hand as well throughout the year. It was just a bizarre, I think it was a hand injury. I know he hurt his hand as well this year. But he had multiple injuries, but starting with the ankle last year, or knee, against the Eagles. And it was clunky. And today, in the first half, he's 12-16. He throws a couple touchdowns. But he went back. He's confident. Boom. Layered throws. Stick throws. You're like, this fucking guy's slinging this thing. They're up 17-3 before you blink. They're just cruising in the game. It's like, well, if they get that version of that guy, they can win the Super Bowl. They can compete to win the NFC. They can beat any team in the league. When that guy's playing at that level, the way he played that playoff game against the Cowboys, they can beat anyone because their defense now with Hafley is really good. Like, it's just a well-coached defense. Part of the downfall of the Packers, why the Niners always beat them in the playoffs, their defense always let them down. McCarthy, Dom Capers was defensive coordinator, and then LaFleur had his buddy Joe Barry, and it just never really worked. They would always get gashed in the biggest moments. You're watching them today, they're like, pretty well-run operation. Now, I'm not going to overreact to the Lions, though I do think the offensive coordinator is a little concerning. I think defensively, sometimes new coordinator, new voice, maybe some new schematic ideas, it can take a little time to figure out. The Ravens are a good example. When it's all said and done, the Ravens are going to be really good on defense. Look at last year. They started off really slow. By the end of the season, they were one of the best defense. I still think the Lions will be okay on defense. Offensively, though, to me, the drop-off sometimes with offensive coordinators when it comes to instincts, when it comes to feel, wait, your first-time coordinator, 55 years old, in a league that's dying to hire 35, 37, 38-year-old offensive coordinators, I got you red flagged. It's like, oh, Sean Payton, John Gruden, love him. Why did they never name this guy their offensive coordinator? Like, I like a lot of people. Wouldn't hire any of them. They're my good buddies. Don't want to work with them. So it's like, I love this guy. Well, why don't you make him your play caller? Well, I don't love him that much. And that's how this thing kind of feels. So I think the Lions offensively, something to kind of keep an eye on. We are extremely excited to announce our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. Everyone knows and loves their hotels and casinos, but now you can use the top-rated Hard Rock Bet sportsbook to place all your NFL bets this season. Hard Rock Bet is the only legal sportsbook in the state of Florida and is also available in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, and Colorado, with more states to come. You can also play on Hard Rock Bet's online casino if you are in New Jersey. As we gear up for the NFL season, sign up for Hard Rock Bet and make a $5 bet, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Head over to Hard Rock Bet, sign up, and make your first deposit today. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We've been talking about this for a while. During training camp, every team that would scrimmage these guys and do joint practice, and they did two. They did one with Detroit, and I think they did one with Minnesota. I can't remember correctly. There were comments coming out from the other team of basically I'm not sure what's going on over there. Specifically when they played the Lions, there were players for Detroit in the joint practices saying, like, I don't know what they're doing over there. And I heard some people, I think, trying to be like, if every single person hangs a right and you are the one person that hangs a left, especially doing sports predictions, and you get it right, you look like a genius. But I don't really know what that gets you. It's not like anyone cares that much, right? It's easy to make fun when everyone's picking a game like on Monday Night Football and everyone picks the wrong team and that team posts it out. Like, happens all the time. But when it's like, yeah, Miami sucks. Miami's not any good. No chance Miami's any good. And there's a couple people that are like, I think Miami's actually going to be decent. And this felt like the situation. I don't think there was a soul. Everyone's like, yeah, it's going to be a long year. Now, I think they were probably going to compete for the number one overall draft pick. Some people might be like, I could see them win 5, 6, 7 games. Like, okay, they got Tua. They've won some games, especially September and October before. Not that crazy. You looked up today. They're playing Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones. Now, the Colts, they got good players on their roster. They got multiple impact guys on offense. They got some good players on defense. In theory, they have a good coaching staff. But it was like 20-0 at halftime. And Tua's throwing picks, airmailing people. You look up at one point in time, you had like 60 yards passing at one point during the game. You're like, this is awful. And then by the end of the game, and he's giving a press conference, people are forwarding me things about him talking about pressure. And it's like, listen, I get no joy. And honestly, at this point in time, I try to avoid watching anything Mike McDaniel when it comes to press conferences. I don't find it very interesting. I find it kind of uncomfortable at this point, and really it's just sad. I knew it was over the moment when all the people making the most money on his team wouldn't show up to his meetings on time. One of the most basic elements of respect in any industry, especially when there's a clear hierarchy. There's a small percentage of jobs that have such a clear hierarchy with a lot of people in the building, right? You got 53 players, you got a coaching staff, 15, 20 guys, but the head coach, once the season starts, is the leader of that entire group. So when there's a meeting at 8 a.m., when there's a meeting at 10 a.m., whenever there's a meeting, a team meeting, you're showing up on time for that guy. So if you're late in Baltimore, Harbaugh is going to be on your ass. And listen, it's the NFL. They'll fine you. Like, a lot of times they don't even waste that much time. They fine you. And sometimes, listen, we got a flat tire. Something happens. Every human being screwed up, right? Jeff Bezos is screwed up. So I'm not saying that being late to a meeting. We've all been late a time or two. I don't care how punctual you are. But when it was like Mike McDaniel, no one will listen to me. I don't know. Fines don't work. I was like, this thing's over. And that was a year after Fangio was like, get me out of here. And this thing's going to get really ugly. So I I guess you could call them the biggest loser today, but I think we all saw this coming.